first about the legal reform bill that has been passed by Parliament. A very significant law that has been passed by Parliament. It will significantly change how we train lawyers in the country. I mean, for once it takes off, we'll have a situation where for the very first time we'll have lawyers who would say that, well, they never went to Makola, the Ghana School of Law located at Makola, where one of my panel members this morning, AB Senior went to Makola a long time ago. I also went to the same Makola. But now we would have people who would go to school and there will be lawyers and they would say that they didn't go to Makola because the monopoly that had been an issue of concern for many years has been broken finally. It's just waiting presidential assent, then the implementation will take place. What we'll do now is we're going to show you it's a very simple piece of graphic that will put everything that has transpired in context. And I'll explain to you the current framework, how I was trained, for instance, how long it took, and what the situation is currently with the proposed law that is coming in now. So that is coming up on the screen now. So this is what we had currently. Basically, the Ghana School of Law being where everyone is trying to get into, because that is where you do the professional training course. You do the various programs there: civil procedure, evidence, legal accounting, law practice, management, advocacy and legal ethics. All those professional law course programs are done at the Ghana School of Law. Now, we had a lot of law faculties across the country. If you compare to many years ago, in fact, many years ago, everyone who was basically a lawyer, either you attended Legon, then eventually it became KNUST, then you go to the Ghana School of Law, then subsequently UCC and all of the other faculties joined. Now we had an increased situation where as many as 14 law faculties were running the LLB program. In addition to post-call, the post-call, like I explained in the first segment, are those who are called to the bar in legal systems that are analogous to Ghana's legal system. So mainly the common law jurisdiction. So for instance, if you are called to the bar in the United Kingdom, you come down, you apply to join the Ghana School of Law, then you do undertake the 1-year post-call program, then you are called to the bar here in Ghana as well. And so there was a challenge that because a lot of people are coming from different faculties, all trying to get into the Ghana School of Law, it meant that space was a problem because the school was not expanding as significant as many would have expected it to. In actual sense, it got to a level that the Ghana School of Law was now using campuses of UPSA. So there was a law school session that was being held at UPSA. Also, GIMPA as well was also taking place there. Then eventually, then the normal Ghana School of Law that we know it as Makola, and the Kumasi campus at KNUST as well. All in an attempt to absorb the numbers, but still, it was still a big problem. And my year group, for instance, were about 3,500 that wrote the entrance exam. Those who were admitted were almost 1,000, 3,000 plus, then just 1,000 being admitted. There was a particular year that 120 out of more than 2,000 that wrote the exam were also admitted. So it came with its own challenges and concerns by different people. But this is how it's going to look now, the new system that we are going to have in place. So the Ghana School of Law will be there. From the bill that I've seen, unless something changed significantly, I've seen 2 functions. The post-call functions remains for the Ghana School of Law. Then there's also the bit about being a remedial school, because now there will be a national bar exam. So we have a situation where the law program, the degree program, will now be 3 years per the new bill. It will now be 3 years. Then afterwards, you do the law training program, the training program, which will be for 1 academic year from September to June. Once you do that program, then you now be qualified to take the national bar exam. And when you pass the national bar exam, you are called to the bar. So those who may not pass the first attempt, you can do a remedial at the Ghana School of Law. It will still be available for the post-call as well. Then there will be the accredited School of Law. So that will be other universities that will be accredited to run the law training practice program. So that will be how things will look now. So in the previous system or the current system, because the law is here to take effect, we had a situation where you are going to have to do either 5 or 6 years, depending on whether you are doing the degree program as a first degree or as a postgraduate. You're going to do 5 or 6 years. But now it's been cut down to the degree program, 3 years, then you do 1 year professional program, then you take the bar exam. So 4 years, if all goes smoothly, you should be done. once you take the national bar exam and you pass and you are called to the bar. So we still have a lot of law faculties still churning out. The difference between figure 1 and figure 2, like you would see, are the number of schools that will be offering the professional training program, which will go up. We don't know how many schools will be accredited for it to start. And so that is the significant change that is taking place by way of legal training and how our lawyers are trained here in the country. And so that is a bit of the state of affairs and how things will look once the new law takes effect. And already I've seen a number of individuals sharing their views on this particular matter and would engage my guests around the table on this subject as well. Let me introduce you to my guest around the table this morning. Kamaldeen Abdullahi is a Deputy Director of Communications for the new Patriotic Party, a former ambassador as well. His Excellency, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Also in the studio this morning, Ebo Bachman, Deputy Communications Director for the United Party. Ebo, always a regular on the Friday belt. Good morning, Ebo. Thank you as always.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Abraham Amaliba is a lawyer with the National Democratic Congress and Director General of the National Road Safety Authority as well. Leonard Sina, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers. There's something bothering my mind. We are getting to Easter, and our drivers, because people will be traveling from left to right, the nooks and crannies of this country. And our drivers need to be very circumspect. The accident rates are going high, and it all borders on misbehavior of drivers, overspeeding, inattentive driving, failure to observe road signs. And I think that we need to have an Easter free of accidents. My appeal to them and road users and also travelers is not to cheer drivers on to speed, but to, as it were, ensure that if drivers are overspeeding, you caution them. If they fail to stop overspeeding or speeding, what you do is to get to the next police barrier, you report the driver to the police. That is a way we can stop some of the carnage on our roads.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. We hope for an accident-free Easter, and that's the advice from the National Road Safety Authority Director General Abraham Amaliba. And Senior, maybe let me start with you, Senior. And the law has been passed now. Is it fair to say that it's a very significant change in how we train lawyers? I'm sure you did the faculty then afterwards.
Yeah.
You went to the Ghana School of Law, then you were called to the bar. And now you can basically, you do 3 years, you go to any other university, you continue there, you do your law training program, then you take the national bar exam. Too radical?
I can tell you that it is the most revolutionary change to our legal education yet. This legal education reform bill is one that has changed the face of our legal education. What has it done? It has separated the regulation of legal education from the regulation of legal profession. So legal education is now regulated by a body different from regulatory legal profession. So the profession is still regulated by General Legal Council, but legal education is now regulated by a board that is under the new law. So you are not going to have the General Legal Council dealing with legal education anymore. It's a separate body that regulates it. Why am I saying it's a complete change or it's a revolutionary change? You will notice that our legal education was divided into two. There's a theoretical part, which was done by the faculties, and you say there are 14 of them. And there's the professional part, which was done by the Ghana School of Law. Now, what you are going to have now is that the faculties will now be empowered or will be given the opportunity to also provide the professional education. So University of Ghana has they now call it School of Law. the school of law will do the theory, and that same school of law will do the professional course. And that's how come we are saying that the Ghana School of Law monopoly over training lawyers has been broken. The next thing is that it is important to indicate that with this change, or let me say, how did we come about this? In the past, we only have the Faculty of Law providing students to the School of Law. And those days, it was like 60, 70 students. In fact, my year group was seen as outrageous. We were 200. But that's even a chicken for you people.
We were 990 something.
My year group was 200, and they saw it as very large. But now I'm hearing they are in thousands and that kind of thing. So and also there came a time when we had a proliferation of law faculties. So you have the base being large, and like a pyramid, all of you are going to the law school. So you run on a 6-lane road, and you are exiting on a 2-lane road. You can see the crowding there. So what did the law school do? They devised ways of failing students, not passing students. They must be deliberate to fail you.
You know, you can say it the other way around, that it now becomes very competitive, so that so that you have to pass in order to meet the limited number.
You want to fine-tune his comments.
You can say it the other way around. I think it's still
to fine-tune his
I think it's still
comments.
achieves the same. It's the same point still. It's the same point still.
List your hall before the General Legal Council. Explain why you say they are failing students deliberately.
So, for instance, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
For instance, you have the exams to the law school, Section A and Section B. Now you are required to get, you may correct me because you wrote those ones. You are required to get 50 A and 50 B, is that it?
Yes. At least 50% on both sides. Yes. So you have to pass, basically you have to get more than half for both sides to get in.
But we all know that when you get 70% in an exam, it's passed. So you can get 50 here, get 20 B, you have failed. If that is not a way of deliberately failing students, what is it? So you can actually get 90% and still fail because you got 80 here and you got 10 here.
Okay, absolutely. Okay.
So you can get 90% and not enter the law school. So that's why I describe it as such, that it was a way to just fail students. And the numbers were huge. So based on that, I think that what broke the camel's back for the law school was, you remember this 440-something students who went on demonstration?
Yes.
And the police had to even pour tear gas on them, and there was a problem. There was an uproar in this country that why should students who want to go and learn law be treated in such a way? So that then shook the foundation of the law school. And you remember what the MPP did was to quickly bring all of them on board. I think they passed them.
Yes.
Just to assuage their pains. But we in the NDC thought that we needed to do something different. And you remember the students even went to former President Mahama, as he then was. Let me qualify the former president.
Very necessary.
As he then was. Not today. And then I think that, thank God to Dominic Ayene's General Attorney General, he brought that whole idea of, and you know, this is the American style, you know, because he went to Sandhurst, he had those ideas. And a committee was put in place. Then I was director of legal. I happened to be part of the committee. Raymond Atuba was there, Bassett was there, Dr. Bassett was there. I think Srimsai was there as well. Hudu Yahya was there as part of the committee. Those I've not mentioned, I can't remember, but it means that I just forgot. So we then came out with this idea, and then it was factored into our manifesto. So you heard Mahama yesterday say that this is a manifesto promise and we are fulfilling. So it is, people are talking about quality because they think that you have opened the floodgates, and that will mean that a lot of people will go through who lack the basic skills to become lawyers. But that was the same thing, the same argument they made when, apart from Legon, other faculties were also coming up with law faculties. I remember when tech was going to, as it were, introduce law, they were looking down upon it and said, no, how can tech do it now? So any new thing, people frown upon it. But I am sure that there will be some way of dealing with that one, where it is only the good ones who come out as lawyers. The system will sieve itself. The system has a way of sieving who is a good lawyer and who is a bad lawyer. And even within the new system where legal education is going to be regulated by a different body, there will be a way, because the faculties are not just going to be accredited to do professional courses. There's a benchmark as to which faculties will qualify to provide that professional education. So be rest assured, I'm speaking this way because of comments from my senior, Sam Okujeto. I can understand him because he's a conservative. Those people don't want changes in any way. So, but the system will deal with the concerns he's raised. I think that it's a good thing, and that now, and don't forget that we need lawyers. The lawyer ratio is not good. Most of the lawyers are here in Accra. When you leave Accra, Kumasi, but the rest of the country, you can have a region with only 4 lawyers. You can have a region with 10 lawyers. That is not proper. So let's see how we can ensure that we give our young ones the opportunity to do the law. And I think what we can also do to ensure that the lawyer ratio is fairly distributed among the regions is for district assemblies or municipal assemblies to sponsor students and then bond them to come back to the region and serve the region. That's another way of dealing with it.
I mean, given that we all identify the problem to be a space problem, the previous government, they started the law village around the UPSA area. I mean, should that not have been pursued because the problem was a space problem? The conversation was barely about how the lawyers have been trained in terms of the course content. In fact, the course content, if you look at the training exam, it doesn't change significantly. Should that not have been pursued?
That was another way of looking at it. But what is short in that thinking is that you're going to have an overburdened law school that will not have the resources to provide these facilities everywhere. The budget for the law school is not going to be astronomically increased because you want to do that. But already there are structures in the universities that are providing these faculties. So why don't you just tap into them? You're not going to build a new, in this arrangement, you're not going to build a new edifice. But in that one, you are going to be building, so you need a law school, you build one in Bolga, you build one in Kumasi, you build one. That was going to be financially challenging. And that will not deal with the problem immediately. But you have accredited universities that have facilities that are already providing school, theoretical practice of the law. Why don't you just use them to ensure that you open access? So that was the thinking.
I mean, you agree that potentially the bottleneck could shift from, now it used to be at the entrance exam to get into the law school. Now it could shift to even doing the national bar exam proper.
That's the final exam. The same thing, the national bar exam. The national bar, so like the accountants who always complain that it's difficult passing their, what do they call their ACA or CCA?
It's basically models.
To charter.
It's in various models.
To charter.
Pass it, yeah.
I can foresee that, but that's the way to deal with the complaint of turning out half-baked lawyers.
So they may end up doing what you accuse the current GLC of.
No. That is why the law school will be there for remedials, to assist for you to be able to pass your exam.
Because potentially in the next couple of years, you may have thousands who would have all completed a law training program. Then they'll sit for the national bar exam.
Yes.
It means that if everyone passes as we expect them to pass, we could have a year that 10,000 people call to the bar.
Yes, but you need to also have a gatekeeping role.
So it comes back to
no, but yeah, but you are providing the law school to be the opportunity from which you can have your remedials to pass your exam. So we'll aid you to pass your exam with the law school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me come to Mr. Abdullahi, and I had to stay a bit on AB because of his own. Yeah. He's a lawyer and his own training as well. So I mean, Mr. Abdullahi, I mean, from where you sit, I mean, the conversation has been on for a while. I mean, did you get a sense that there's a clear direction that brings some comfort to Ghanaians?
Once again, good morning to you, and good morning to Ebo and lawyer Amaliba, as well as our viewers. Let me first give credit to Professor Kuku
Asari.
Professor Kuku, Stephen Kuku Asari, popularly known as Professor Azar. He's been a strong advocate for such a revolution in the legal education environment. And of course, as we said today, the bill is just some few days away from being accented to by the president, as passed by Parliament today. Anything that has some component of education, okay, must not necessarily be politicized. It has always been my view that, look, we are seeking to develop the human resource of this country, okay? And in seeking to develop the human resource of this country, by extension, the human capital of this country is indeed going to be enhanced. Once it's education, we all have to come to the table, put in our bits and pieces of suggestions, fine-tune whatever policy that we want to churn out, and then bring it out to benefit all, which is exactly what happened yesterday in Parliament. And sitting where, I mean, given where I sit, and going through the law since last night, I think we have about 88 sections of the law completely, and including the memoranda. I looked at the memoranda, we summarized it, and then looked at the bill itself. For me, it is a going concern. There could be aspects of it, just as we have been able to depart from the law which was passed in 1958, which granted General Legal Counsel the right to indeed see to legal education. And for so many years down the line, we're now having to do with a proper revolution of it, necessitated by the conditions we find ourselves in. My brother, Lawyer Malva, says some deliberate way of failing people were even seen. You get what I mean? So obviously, if these are some of the reasons, there could be a genuine person who is so smart, who is so good, but the fact that the policy in place is not favorable, that person is denied the access to become a lawyer. So that's what I'm saying. The law, anything that has to do with education, Akabli, we must all try to embrace it. It is not to say that we should not critique it when we're supposed to critique to put things right. Again, that is why I said everybody should put his suggestions on the table and let's fine-tune it properly and come out with it. But where we are today, I think it's going to be a novelty going forward. What we don't now have to do is not to compromise on quality. Initially, we had only University of Ghana churning out lawyers, or if you like, churning out LLB holders, who will then go to Ghana Law School to become, if you like, trained lawyers. Now we have a plethora of universities, okay, undertaking legal courses, in this case, LLB. So what can we do, or what are we going to do with this law to ensure that that quality is not compromised? It's the most important thing we have to look at, okay? Again, what Lawyer Amalbas said, that some deliberate machinations were put in place to fail people.
But why are you referencing me on that?
I'm coming.
Why can't you also make it?
I'm making a good point. I'm making a point. Some deliberate moves were there to fail students. Are we sure that there will not be deliberate moves to pass students?
Okay.
That's the question now. If we now have them in numbers, and maybe monitoring may be a problem. Okay? Are we sure that some students in some institutions would not also be, if you like, advantaged, okay, to pass out? And when that happens, then the quality of lawyers that we're going to have in our system would actually be in question. That said, I think that it's a great idea. is going to enhance the legal education and is going to help us out. And it will, of course, even help the General Legal Council to now concentrate on the professional aspect of it. Hitherto, they had to do with legal education and they had to also deal with professionals, as it were. And let me tell you, there are a series of complaints before even the General Legal Council about some conduct of lawyers. Okay? Now, the focus is going to be on them. When I also looked at the composition of the board of this council, I was telling myself that it looks too political. Too political, honestly. First, it's going to be chaired by the Attorney General. The same Attorney General is going to recommend some members of the bar to be, on the board. The same Attorney General is going to get somebody who is a state attorney or something to be part of it. The same Attorney General. So for me, that aspect is quite political. Even though, yes, the Constitution says that the Minister of Justice is supposed to be a competent person who is in the legal industry. But of course, let us not take away politics from this. Where we are going to have the man taking care of even the composition of the entire board, then we should again look at the political aspect of it properly. I would have thought that, yes, we will fall on retired justices of the superior courts. We will fall on, if you like, senior lawyers in the academia to properly enhance the board. But if you look at the board, it smacks of so much politics. Okay? If it was that earlier and it's still going to be so, then I don't see so much changes. But I think that we should not try to give it that political coloration so much, because it has to do with the human capital development of this country, as it were. Now, what I would like to also add is that what has come up today, question is, should somebody sit for the national exam, bar exam, and could not make it? The law provides in somewhere, I think section 70 of it, that there could be a receipt for that person. It just mentions receipt. How many times is someone supposed to receipt until the person emerges as a proper person to be called to the bar? The law is silent on that, unless maybe I stand to be educated. And it reads, a person who fails the national bar examination the first time may, subject to the payment of the prescribed fee, okay, receipt the national bar examination. Then clause 2, the National Bar Examination Committee shall prescribe rules to govern the receipt of the national bar examination. So, of course, here it has been provided for. Here it has been provided for them. You get it? So the question is, how many times is someone allowed to receipt national bar exam? I'm sure the regulations will define that going forward. So it means that this is actually the mother law to govern it. There may be series of legislations or series of regulations or rules that will come to enhance whatever we have. So clearly, it is not a bad day for Ghana. It is good for the legal industry. But just as we have done this, which is purely humanities, what are we doing in the sectors that will see necessarily the development of this country? The engineering aspect, the TVET aspect, the STEM aspect, which for me is more imperative. I'm not saying the legal education is not, which for me to develop this country is highly imperative and significant to us. So I will recommend that going forward as a country, we should revolutionize, just as we have done the legal industry, the sector of TVET as well.
Okay.
Kwame Nkrumah had what we call the PWD. And we were not there, but we've read something about it. We're told how effective the PWD was and how they were helping ministries and departments and agencies to build this country. If you wanted people to lay carpets, they were specialists. If you wanted people to paint, they were specialists. If you wanted carpenters, they were specialists. Today, we don't have that. We have left it. Now, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo also clearly thought that we have come to meet TVET. How can we enhance TVET? Just this morning on my way here, I hear they are facing budgetary constraints. They don't even have money to procure equipment to train people on the TVET. I am saying, and that is the only way we can develop this country. So we should not concentrate entirely on the humanities aspect. We should also look at the STEM aspect, science, engineering, technology, and mathematics. If we are able to do this properly, this country would actually be a place to live in and be happy. Okay. But of course, that said, this is a good call for us, and we all support it. We only hope and pray that the quality shall not be compromised.
Before I come to Ebo, just a minute with you, Ebi. The concern he raises on the governing body of the council. So there's the Attorney General, who is the Minister for Justice as chairperson. One person nominated by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, not below the rank of a Chief State Attorney. 3 reps of the bar, each not less than 15 years experience. A representative of the ministry responsible for education. Then a rep from GTech, nominated by GTech, and a person who teaches law in an accredited university. So I guess the first initial one. But if you compare this to what we have currently for the General Legal Council, it's chaired by His Lordship the Chief Justice. Then there are Justices of the Supreme Court. So currently Justice Gabriel Palmine. There's another Justice of the Supreme Court, Avril Lovelace Johnson. Then the Attorney General is there as well. Then because of the law being very old, the requirement of the Dean of the University of Ghana Law School was always a part of it. And there's the National President of the Bar, Vice President, Secretary. Then there's the Ghana Bar Association. Then a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana as well, who is an appointee basically, who joins as well. So basically, if you compare the two, it appears one is more or less being given to executive power now, so to speak. You agree with that?
Exactly. The current is more or less giving executive power. It's more political.
What you read from the General Legal Council, don't forget that was also going to deal with
the profession.
The profession. So heavily packed with judges to deal with the profession as well as them. But now you are separating. So now this General Legal Council is still intact. They are there like that. But this time you are dealing with legal education. And so the structure too will be different. And when you look at it, apart from the Attorney General himself and one person he appoints, that's the only.
Was that it? I think, okay, well,
that's the only. That's the only. But the rest outnumber the two of them.
Okay.
The rest outnumber the two of them. So it's not detrimental because when you look at it, the influence from the government is only 2, Attorney General and somebody he appoints.
There will be a third one, a retired Justice of the Superior Court, nominated by the Attorney General
again.
Okay.
Yes. Nominated by the Attorney General.
Attorney
It's
General.
more for executive.
Yeah, so, but you see that even...
Then if you have a rep coming from the Ministry of Education as well?
Again, executive.
No. But what I'm saying is that you are bringing a retired judge. Somebody would have still appointed that retired judge.
Okay.
Even if it is the First Lady.
Okay.
He will still appoint a retired judge.
All right.
So you see that it is specifying the people you appoint. It is not left to him. Now, do you think that a retired judge at that level can be, bamboozled by an Attorney General?
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Because the quality, the person you are bringing is of substance that you don't expect that the Attorney General will be, guiding him left and right. So that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Ebu, this is the time to start your law.
Let me tell you, when I was going to Legon, law was my second choice. People thought I was going to read law because I used to be very argumentative, growing up. Even at the university, people were,
so you can love football and be argumentative.
Yeah. And I also know, of course, I was a very good footballer.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a very good footballer. I played for even Legon team. Mohamed Polo was our coach. So I was a Gasco national. I played. But you see, what is the end game of this new law? For me, that is what is important. Whatever we are going to get out of it is what is important, not what we have produced. In terms of the law, what will be the end game? Because I know the reason why lawyers have this restrictive entry point is the issue of demand and supply. The lawyers want to always, normally professional bodies would want to create scarcity to have high prices for their services. Because demand and supply would tell you that if you have more supply exceeding demand, your value, your price will fall. The opposite holds. So they always want to create that scarcity in the system. That's what accountants do. to have a few chartered accountants in the system, to have a few lawyers. That was the motive behind having that restrictive entry point. So now, is it going to be a matter of the restriction being shifted or being moved from entry to the final exam, where still they make sure they produce few lawyers to have that scarcity and value? That is very important. So we are yet to see. But obviously, I think they want to expand, if you like, access. I mean, to create that opportunity for a lot of people. So expansion of access is very important. That's what I see as the end game, to promote merit. I think they want to have a shift from, because of the restriction they were having, the system became more like you need to know someone, to be able to get to the law school. It became at a point in time, it became who you know. So you need to know someone before you can become a lawyer. Even if you are sharp,
otherwise you'll be deliberately failed.
If you are sharp, you still need someone to help you to like. Now I think there's going to be from what I'm seeing, there's going to be a shift from who you know to what you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now because equal access and all that, also to modernize the system, is also one of the end games. Also to improve regulation and standards. I think we want to have lawyers who can best be described as lawyers. Yeah. Because in recent times, all the lawyers we've had in this country, it's really difficult to refer to them as lawyers. When you hear them speak and they tell you this man is a lawyer, you wonder how he became a lawyer. So we need to improve the standards, then also to produce more practical, job-ready lawyers. Lawyers, there are a lot of people who have completed law school. They can't go to the court because they don't have what it takes to stand before judges and to even argue their cases. You need to cure, this law should be able to cure all this to ensure that we have practical lawyers who are job ready. So the moment you come, one way we need to reduce unemployment is to create more lawyers, because you are expected to have your own chamber or join another chamber. Hardly will a lawyer become unemployed. Hardly. So,
but these days, because of the numbers, getting a place even for your pupillage is very difficult now.
Yet you are being told that in terms of ratio, we have one lawyer is to about 6,000.
I mean, in terms of the
6,000.
In terms of the workload, I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that we need a lot of lawyers. Like the things that I'm dealing with on a daily basis is so much.
So we need more.
No doubt. But it's very weird that on the flip side, you can't get the space to get in.
Yeah.
When you get in, the work that one person is doing, it's like work for 10 people.
10 people, yeah. So in a nutshell, we need more lawyers, more quality lawyers.
So we don't have enough chambers. I think that's what where you can do
no firms.
Yeah. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's a feather, beautiful feather in the cap of the government. As I say, we don't have to politicize this. We don't have to make any political capital out of it. It's a good reform. You see, I will go with Kamal. He said something that's quite interesting, because which other areas of our education system are we reforming?
Exactly.
I mean, look at the challenges we have. We need to reform based on challenges we have. One major challenge we have as a nation is the issue of unemployment. How are we reforming our education system to solve that problem?
To solve that problem, that is just key.
It's very important.
Key.
JSS, SS, if you want to call it JHS, SHS, and university education. What are we going to do to ensure that students that come out will not think of writing application to go and look for a job as the first option?
Because the person has something in hand to do.
It's very important.
Exactly.
So yes, we agree this is a very fantastic reform, because it's going to, if you like, expand access, promote merit, and also modernize the system. Let's look at what we can do to education system to solve the problem of unemployment. For me, that is more crucial and more critical as a nation. So with that said, I think it's a good thing, and we should support it.
All right. Some of you have been sending your messages to us. A lot of you are saying that you are going to, you are waiting for, you are wondering when the implementation will start. I don't know whether
the president hasn't answered to it yet.
The president will have to sign it. We'll sign it first. Then we'll see what will happen. You're excited that it will be 3 years. Musa Abatwa, you say that you agree with Amaliba that the world is evolving rapidly, and individuals of advanced age, such as, may find it challenging to adapt to those changes. And the passage of the groundbreaking legal education reform is bold, prudent, and forward looking there. So that is it. We will look out for the president signing it into law, whether there will be some other regulations that will be coming up as well. And
but at least let me commend the minority on this particular matter. I heard John Darko yesterday speak and praising the new law, what has been passed. Like Kamal said, I'm sure this bill received concurrence from both sides.
They did.
And I want to commend them for that.
In fact, I heard the minority leader and I didn't get a sense of any consensus.
Yeah, I didn't even hear the minority leader.
Yeah.
I heard John Darko, who is their legal advisor. He spoke highly of the bill. But like he said, as we go on, we'll be fine-tuning the rough edges. Yeah.
All right. This is what our first president said. You know, he set up the Ghana School of Law, and when the first crop of lawyers were passing out, he said the demand for the services of lawyers is great and varied. Our local authorities, our city and municipal councils, state corporations and enterprise, and the central government itself will benefit greatly from the services of lawyers. Lawyers in Ghana will therefore be called upon to play an increasingly important role in the progress, development, and reconstruction of the country. Ghana will look to you to serve her with humility, honesty, integrity, and loyalty. We do not expect you to regard yourself as a privileged class, engaged in a selfish scramble to acquire wealth and influence. We expect you to identify yourselves fully with the people and with their hopes and aspirations, and apply your knowledge and energies fully for their welfare and progress. There's a concluding part where he says, ye must not in your profession limit yourselves to only what you do in terms of the court only. As lawyers of the new Africa, you must be ever ready to assist the ordinary men and women, the farmers, the workers, the market women in the towns and villages in their everyday legal problems by providing sound advice whenever they need it. You must remember at all times that law does not operate in a vacuum. Its value and significance must be related to its impact and overall importance of the people and the state. You have qualified as lawyers at a most crucial period in the history of Africa.
This statement sounds very fresh. It doesn't look like it was said in the 60s. It sounds very fresh. When you look at the tone and the categorization of where we may need lawyers or services of lawyers by him, it looks like he's speaking today.
Yeah.
That was quite a visionary statement that he made.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
this was on 22nd June.
Because as we said, we have over 260 something MMDCs, right? Is this 262?
61 or 62.
Very well. Question is, do we have legal officers in all our district assemblies? First question. Or they are relying on legal aid for such assistance. Wouldn't it be prudent for every single local government authority, just as he put it, to have at least a legal advisor within?
Yeah.
Who would advise? Look, you put an MC there who is very political.
Yeah.
Issues of negotiations come, issues of contracts come. He doesn't even understand it. He goes ahead and he signs. Tomorrow, the district assembly is supposed to be hauled before court by some contractors. Issues. As we speak, there are companies, road contractors, whatever. They don't even have lawyers in their firms. You should have a lawyer. They wait until they have a problem. They go looking for a chamber that they will look for a lawyer. That's a good lawyer. Look, if we are deliberate about it. Of course, this revolution would bring about more jobs and would bring about enhancing the entire, if you like, legal fraternity in terms of also, absorbing.
But the first batch of the law school were 9 students. One of them, who taught me family law, said that they were being mocked at. Because, in fact, even establishing that law school, Nkrumah faced challenges because they said You can't be why? Every lawyer was trained from outside. So
yes.
What kind of law school? Who are you for? They were looking down upon. And now see where they even cited Makola.
They will look at champions.
So they were being mocked at.
Because now the new thing will be that every lawyer was trained at Makola, but now every lawyer is not
everybody thinks so well.
So they were being mocked at. But we've come a long way.
Well, interesting there.
But the law also says from 5 institutions have been accredited already.
Already, yeah.
To start, because Ghana Law School is one, UPSA is one, Legon is one, and I think KNUST is also one.
Okay.
And the last one is it Gimpa?
I think those are
already existed before now.
They're already using their campuses now. They're already using their campuses.
So they may be the.
So automatically
automatically, that's what the law. I think the law recognizes them.
So let's see how all of that plays out. Let's talk some politics now. And the New Patriotic Party, they are taking on the first gentleman of the land, and by extension, his brother Ibrahim Mahama. We understand the petition is being sent to the Shraj, alleging some issues of conflict of interest. Let's listen to the minority speak directly on these matters. First, the issues surrounding the Daman mine, previously operated by Goldfields. Then we'll also hear from them on the presidential jet or the private jet of Ibrahim Mahama.
We call for the immediate publication of the full bidding documentation, including the date of formal tender initiation, the criteria, the tender committee's composition, and the evaluation methodology, in compliance with LI 2176. 2. Compulsory disclosure of the full beneficial ownership of all 3 bidding entities, including EMP connections, with compliance with Ghana's EITI corrective action obligations. Because we are beginning to smell a rat. Ghana is watching 2 things happen at once. It is watching the Damai gold mine being arranged for the president's brother. And it is watching that the same brother's private jet carried the president on official state visits, free of charge, we are told, while his companies accumulate hundreds of millions of dollars in state-linked contracts. These are not separate stories. They are the same story. They share an author, a beneficiary, and a constitutional problem. Taken together, they present the most serious conflict of interest question to confront any Ghanaian presidency since the Republic was.
So here the minority there speaking on these 2 issues, the Daman mine and the presidential jet. And let me start with you, Mr. Abdullahi, on this one. Is there enough basis to ground such serious allegations as we are hearing the minority make?
I think, for me, honestly speaking, there's so much basis and a lot more to even add to what the minority press conference actually enumerated yesterday. First, let's begin this way. Who is the president of Ghana? And who is supposed to take care of the president of Ghana? And with what resources is the president of Ghana supposed to be taken care of? So the first question is, the president of Ghana is the one who Ghanaians go to line up in December to elect as their president, as enshrined in the Constitution or as guaranteed by the Constitution. The president of Ghana is the one who is sworn in duly by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and render himself to the services and regulations or whatever of the Constitution. That is why in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, they say that even the president is immune from prosecution. No matter what he does, he cannot be taken to court, he cannot be arrested, he cannot. Look, the president is so important to us. The state makes available every single thing that the president needs to function. This is what it is. Question now is, my brother has a plane, I'm the president of Ghana. Can you depart to just say because my brother has a plane, let me use my brother's plane. Or it is the onus or the onus lies on the state to ensure that your travel is so official, important to us, and we have to take care of you. Or you can do anything you want. Fundamentally, this alone negates what the president is doing. Fundamentally. Because my brother has this, my uncle has this, what has this? What actually constitutes nepotism and favoritism? These are some of the things. We're in this country, when we're even arguing that a government is what? Friends and cronies government, or family and friends government. The fact that someone is even appointed, the likes of Honorable Amalaba and his NDC people will come out to say that, look, family and friends, to the extent that Sami Jefi held a press conference bringing up pictures of relations of the president or close to the president, appointed. Today, the state has a duty to take care of our president. The state has a duty to ensure that his safety is guaranteed. The state has a duty to pay for his official visits. The state has a duty to do all. You have put all this aside. Say, my brother has a jet, so I'm going to use my brother's jet. When we ask you, say, oh, not at the expense of Ghana. Who told you Ghana that cannot fund your trip? Who said so? So, for me, the president, what he's doing smacks of favoritism, nepotism, just as the minority have said, indicated. Because even if it's not so, somebody is justified to make such allegations. That, look, you have a brother who has a company that bids for government contracts. You have a brother who has a company that bids for government assets, if it's on sale, or if it's on whatever. Now you say, I want to use my brother's estate. The next moment you hear your brother is going to bid for this. What will be your position as a president?
But I mean,
these are the new questions.
Yeah, but
you may not be doing it.
But let's stay on the two issues.
Yes.
So, for instance, if you pick the Daman mine, for instance, I mean, it's the government has.
No, let's not. I'm not narrowing to Daman mine alone.
Okay.
I'm not narrowing to it alone. I'm not saying that a brother or a relation of a president cannot do business.
But
That's not what
topic we are here.
That is not what I'm saying.
You can't
That's
say
not what I'm
that
saying.
not talk about
I am saying that. I said I'm not narrowing. Listen to me. I said no.
We have a topic.
No. What I said was that I'm not narrowing it to only Daman. I am making a statement that, of course, morally and subjectively, we need to look at.
Yeah, but the basis for the petition references those two issues.
I have not said they have no reference. I said I'm not narrowing my submission to that.
That's fine. So I'm interrogating the two issues that are in the petition.
Yes.
And I'm saying that limiting to those two issues, do you sense that there's been an abuse of public office in relation to those two issues?
You see, you lawyers always make the subjective and the objective argument. Objectively, what would a reasonable man say seem to be happening? It's grounded in law.
Yeah, but I mean,
and I'm saying that you may bring
when Sami Jefi did that news conference, the MPP were also making the other arguments that you are suggesting I am advancing as well. You'll be making the same arguments that, I mean, if the president's relatives are doing business, you have to ask the question that did they win those contracts?
Nobody said that. If you listen to me, I said there's nothing that stops a president relation from doing business. I didn't say that, but I'm saying that it is the actions of the president, maybe what ought to have been done by the state for him. Then the president says, because my brother has this, and the same brother is in the business field, okay, he wants to go and use it. Because I listened to Felix Ofozukwati, who said that they were paying nothing for the usage of the jets, and that they were only buy fuel in it. Apart from that, no charges. And we want to, and that's why I started by saying that it's the state's responsibility to ensure that the president is taken care of. In this case, we are told that my brother has a jet. The state responsibility has been what? Shelved. So my point here I'm making, so after using it, what in return does he get? That is what somebody will make the objective argument that maybe he's in return he's going to get to be favored for some government contracts. It may not be so, but do not create environment for people to raise some of these matters. So point is that, with the greater respect to the President of the Republic of Ghana, what he's doing today, it is not proper. With the great respect to the people of Ghana, we voted for a president who we are supposed to take care of if the president must travel and there's no jet, in fact, you people said the jet was in pristine condition. That jet has been packed. If there's no jet, what you have to do is to find a way, either use commercial or rent a jet for the president to travel. But not to say my brother has a jet and for that matter, I'll bring it in. In public service, it's a no, no, no.
Okay.
Completely.
Okay.
It's a no, no, no.
AB, on the jet issue, you agree that that raises questions?
Akufo-Addo was living in his father's house. Was that conflict of interest?
Oh. What? That cannot be
Akufo-Addo was living in his father's house.
That's not.
Was it not also the duty of the state to house him?
I mean, but senior, what if
I disagree.
the property has been transferred to him now? He's the owner now.
Absolutely. You don't even have details of that.
I don't know for a fact, but between the two of us, that's a possibility.
I know, that was his father's house.
Yes, but it could have been ruled to him that this is his name now, it's his property.
The father was not living.
Was that also conflict of interest? Look, what is conflict of interest? It's where a person's interest interferes with their ability to act professionally.
Really?
Or impartially. It's where a person's interest interferes with his ability to act impartially. So where does this come in? How does the president, using his brother's jet, inhibit him to act impartially? How does where is it?
That's Elise speaking today.
Where is it? Where is it? And who says that a president cannot say that I do not want to burden the public purse, and so if you want to buy a car for me, I'll use my wife's car, and that's a problem?
It's not a problem.
Is that a problem? I do not want to burden the public purse, so I want to use my wife's car. Is that a problem? How is that a problem? Aren't we supposed to even praise that president for not, as it were, dipping his hands into the public purse and allowing the public purse to be used for other things?
I mean, but maybe if public officers are living off the benevolence of private citizens, especially when those private citizens are active participants in the competitive business space, don't you see that as a possible problem? So, for instance, if those private individuals are bidding for government contracts, the decision maker is aware that this private person doles things out to government officials, would that not play at the back of his mind that, well, we have to give the contract?
When I started my submission here, I said Akufo-Addo is living in his father's house. I didn't say Akufo-Addo is living in the businessman's house. This is a brother of the president. In fact, the president could even say, I don't want to take my clothing allowance. My brother will buy for me. Is that a problem? I'm just asking you. That's why I'm looking at your face. You can see how convoluted that argument is. A president decides to use his brother's jet. What you can be talking about, and I would agree with that, is about security reasons. Is that jet and the pilots, are they qualified because of security reasons to, as it were, fly the plane? If our concerns is security reasons, I will join them and say that let's ensure that when he's flying it, the security of the president is tight. But a president chooses to say that I don't want to burden the public purse, and there's somebody complaining. Can you imagine? And this diamond thing. Do they know that the diamond mines was granted in 2024? And who was the government at that time?
When you say was granted, what do you mean?
The approval of the diamond to Ibrahim Mahama was in 2024.
Yeah, that was a no objection letter.
I'm saying that was it. It started then.
Yeah, but the no objection letter basically saying that you can negotiate with Goldfields.
But I'm saying
as it stands now, in fact, the government statement says that the selection will be done through competitive bidding. So as it stands now, no one has been awarded a contract.
So that's why I'm saying that they are Hullabaloo this morning or yesterday, whatever. Do they know that the processes started in 2024 and that letter was given? Do they know? Was that under Mahama? Was that under Mahama? So you have an opposition that is groping in the dark. You see, there has never been a time where a government has gone for full 1 year and a half running to, and you cannot find scandal. So that has dazed the opposition. And they are wondering how to smear this government with some scandal which they can run with. But much as they do that, they are unable to find any mad sticking.
Really?
So something which is not even an issue, the opposition will want to raise it to a national discussion. And try as they do, it falls down like a pack of cards. And so I'm sure they haven't yet come out from that 38%. And if that is what is dazing them, I think it is important for them to come out of it.
Okay.
What is more, as it were, conflict of interest than when you gave your brother, your cousin, the finance minister, and he was collapsing competitors' banks?
That one was conflict of interest.
What is more than that?
Really?
What is more conflict of interest?
Listening to
What is more conflict of interest than a finance minister using his banks as transaction advisors and pocketing that money? What is more conflict of interest than that? Today, you are mounting the high moral ground to talk about conflict of interest. That time you didn't go to law school to know what conflict of interest is. You've suddenly gone to your law school and you now know conflict of interest. When this conflict of interest you are talking about does not wash. And so, tomorrow, President Mahama can say that, look, I do not want to take my salary. Ibrahim Man will feed me. What is your concern about that? What is your concern about that? My brother will feed me. What is your concern about that? People who, and that's why they will continue shrinking as a minority until they begin to do the right things.
Okay. Ebo, do you find these two issues to be weighty matters? Mr. Abdullahi basically suggests that the optics, from what I know from him, he says the optics may be a problem. There may not be maybe a serious legal issue, but there may be some optic issues there. You share that concern, the president flying around in the brothers.
You should have also summarized what I also said so that he can talk about it too. But he's doing one way.
I heard you.
So Kamal did said this, and I also said that.
Okay.
Maybe I heard you. I heard you.
Senior, calm down.
So why is MPP trying very hard to make the two issues one issue? Two issues, one issue. These are separate issues. Let's not marry the two. Let me ask my brother Kamal, Dr. Baumia's brother, who was given Cocoa Road contract, which was even inflated 3 times the price. What did he do for his brother before he was given a contract? Did he do anything for his brother before he was given a contract?
No, we didn't hear that. He's a businessman. I told you that every single businessman. So it doesn't mean that when you are not a
so the point is that Mr. Ibrahim Mahama did not have to do something for his brother. He shouldn't have to do something for his brother before, if he's going to favor him, he will favor him. So let's not marry the two issues. These are two separate issues we are talking about. And of course, I understand the position of the MPP. You see, except that they are wasting everybody's time with this needless scandal fishing expedition. Of course, you need to understand them because they know their regime, their 8 years in power was riddled with accusations of or allegations of conflict of interest all over the place. At every turn, you will see conflict of interest. Maybe you just mentioned one. what is more conflict of interest than Ken Ofori-Atta? What Ken Ofori-Atta did? Borrowing money senselessly because he was
when you borrow money is conflict of interest. Is that you understand conflict of interest?
No, listen to me. Let me learn. Because his company, the data bank, was benefiting from it. His company, data bank, was benefiting from it. That was why he was borrowing senselessly. Because anytime you borrow, he benefits. What is more conflict of interest than that? I just gave you Dr. Bawumia's brother's situation.
Just conflict of interest.
So when you talk about issue of conflict of interest, the last people to talk about conflict, it's same people. I don't know why they don't want to focus on how to build their party, but they're engaging in these useless press conferences. Let me tell you this. When we are discussing the issue of private jet, for me, two issues come out very importantly. First, the issue of safety of the president.
Which AB raised as well.
His safety is paramount. In fact, his safety comes before any other person's safety in this country, as the first gentleman of the land. The second issue is the issue of cost to the state. So anytime he moves, we think about two things. Probably when it comes to the issue of safety, we can talk about his convenience, his comfort. We can talk about the issue of probably, I mean, you can look at other factors, but safety is very important, and cost to the state. So now as we speak, our jet is not in good condition. So in terms of safety...
Since when?
So in terms of safety, we can't depend on it.
I mean, but you remember the political conversation just
in
not too long ago.
That's what we are told. In terms of safety, we can't depend on it.
So who told lies?
So
when he said it,
come on, when you were speaking,
I'll give you some time to.
So let's look at other options in light of safety and cost to the state, and see which option is the best for us. Because the first option is the president taking commercial flight. So in light of safety and security, is it the best for our president to take commercial flights? In terms of risk, safety risk and security risk, probably the cost will be low, but what about the risk? Are you getting the point? So you need to analyze it from these two perspectives. The second option is the president also renting expensive private jet like Akufo-Addo did.
That's what they want, so they can talk about it.
$18,000 per hour, $20,000 per hour. So even here, safety, because it's private man's jet. Do you know the security implication? What they may have, hidden somewhere to record the president. Even safety, that one is not even the best. Look at the cost too, very expensive. So this one also doesn't come in, because if you look at the issue of safety and cost, it doesn't come in. Let's look at the next one. The president don't travel at all. Sit home until our private jet is ready. It's another option. But that one is no, because the president must move. Are you getting it? The next option to consider is the president renting his brother's jet. Because the brother is also a businessman. He can rent it out. So here you can say, in terms of safety and security, I would prefer this one to commercial and renting. In terms of security, so the president taking his brother's jet or renting his brother's jet, in which case we are going to pay. So cost will be very high, but safety will be very low. Then the next option, which the president is doing now, is to have a higher safety with your brother's higher security or low security risk with your brother's jet at almost no cost, except the fuel cost and landing cost. I mean, so what is the noise coming from MPP? Why the noise coming from MPP? That if you have such a situation and the president's safety is very paramount, and the president says, in these circumstances, or under these circumstances, what is good for me in terms of my safety is to depend on my brother's jet. Now, you've shifted the goalpost. You say now, he's using it because so that he will be able to favor his brother. Or the brother has given his private jet to the president so that when he bids for contract, the president will say no. Cannot say no. Does it make sense? Would this man, Mr. Ibrahim, will have to do this to the president or for the president before he can get contract from the president? before you can get. Let me ask you. Let's be practical about it. That's why I asked you a question. Akufado's daughter, who was given painting contract worth $25 million or so, an ambulance spare part contract. What did she do for the father before the father gave her those contracts? So what kind of argument is this? Now with the demand one, I wish Mr. Mahama would be giving more such contracts. All the contract, the white people, let me tell you, gold production, Canada, Australia, America, China, they produce more gold than Ghana. Yet they have mining companies in Ghana. We need more Ghanaians to own our mining companies. If you can have 20 of Ibrahim's type in this country owning our mining companies, I will be very glad to have somebody like that. A very hard-working man, a very generous man, hard-working. He's working all over the place in Africa. And if you want to marry the two issues because your party is collapsing, and so you want to also paint this government with a certain brush to also look bad, and so you have to create all these stories. I'm telling you, when it comes to the issue of conflict of interest, all those hypocrites who had a press conference, none of them was able to speak against Ken Ofori-Atta's what Ken did in this country. Okay. In respect of conflict of interest.
All right. All right. Just a minute. Yes. We are wrapping. Just a minute. Yes.
It's important. He says our party is collapsing. I'm surprised if 31,000 people put themselves together to call themselves a political party, and who would not come out to even tell us the vision they have for Ghana, and rather want to serve as surrogates to a ruling government. We'll call a party. We'll call a party. With all respect, we'll call a party that is formidable, that is strong, that has a tradition. That party is. No, I'm talking about the UP. 31,000 people. You put yourself together and call yourself a political party.
Before we started that,
let me continue.
What will happen is that if he's fighting, they will say that. I am saying that.
I told you. I'm saying that. You see, I'm not surprised that some group of 31,000 people put themselves together after their frustration and call themselves a political party, come to sit there and serve as surrogates of NDC, okay, and want to tell a party that is formidable that party is actually collapsing.
Collapsing because of the corruption.
Let me tell you something.
Because of the corruption, mismanagement,
the president.
Please, one.
One minute. A president who actually is supposed to walk his talk and walk his principles is a president who will not say, my appointees and my good self must abide by my code of conduct. Which code of conduct spells out conflict of interest, spells out to the extent that it says, even when you get a gift of 20,000 cedis, you must declare. Then the same president turns away to say that, look, I have been given a private jet by my brother, and then we shouldn't talk of nepotism, we shouldn't talk of favoritism, we should rather clap hands for him, and even at the expense of his own code of conduct. Okay. That is the highest hypocrisy we are talking about. Okay. So for me, when you talk of hypocrisy, this is clear. But of course, finally to end this is a precedent we are setting for our mother Ghana. Let no one come out to say tomorrow that one president is there and his brother, like the example he has given, Bawumia's brother is a businessman and this person is a business. Let no man come to sit here and tell us that this was what was happening. I think it's dangerous for Ghana, and we should all speak against it. Right. But not to come and say when it suits you, it's fine. Okay. When it doesn't suit you, it's not fine. Okay. Really? What kind of country are we building?
81 minutes.
I think the MPP is looking for a twin.
We're not looking for a twin.
And they are looking for a twin in the NDC. So that
equalization.
So that they will say that but they will not get that from us. We know how to rule this country. In any case, do you know that they have gone further to even talk about, they have the audacity to talk about toll booths. When you close that toll booth one hot afternoon, you people, you close our toll booth, the whole country, one hot afternoon. The reason was what? There's traffic. These people, I don't know where they get their courage from. A bunch of people, wrongdoers, but they would turn around and put pressure on somebody who's already doing the right thing.
The proverbial bird that muddies the water upstream, runs downstream, and asks who did it.
Who did it?
That's it.
So I think that After getting a twin in the NDC, they will not get us. They won't get us.
I'll give you the
fair. This thing is not good. Speak against it.
What is
wrong? If your brother is doing something, it's not good.
What is not good?
Come on, we're in this country. When ex-convicts came to this country with one suitcase, overnight they became millionaires. Ex-convicts, UK ex-convicts, they came to this country with one suitcase because their cousin, because the cousin became president. Is now a millionaire overnight. So that we've seen this in this country. So my brother,
concentrate on your 1,000 party.
No, see, let me tell you something.
It's very important.
It's interesting.
This NDC card you are playing, it will not help you.
I'm not telling you. It's sickening.
How about NDC? They will lead you to the video.
It's sickening to hear MPP speak the way they do.
What is sickening?
Look at a political party that did 99% sourcing, complaining that someone has done 44%.
Have you checked the records?
I mean, what is wrong with MPP? What is wrong with MPP?
Have you checked the records?
What is wrong with MPP?
When come to speak, you follow what is there.
MPP should pray that God gives them someone like Ibrahim Mahama in their party, because their party is a bunch of selfish people.
Oh my God!
Very selfish wimple. In those days, if somebody is tight-fisted, you call a person wimple. Wimple people in your party. Pray that you get someone like Ibrahim Mahama in your party. Instead of attacking him, pray for his kind in your party.
You know that the current jet is not well.
So you
want the president to fly that jet.
So you knew the jet wasn't well. So you would have thought Black was lying to Ghanaians when he said the jet was actually in good condition. But could you tell Black what check did he do?
That's all time would allow us.
But the thing with now today, you know the jet is not good.
My guest,
my guest this morning.
Don't you rather be shut up?
My guests this morning have been Ambassador Kamaldeen Abdullahi, a former ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Deputy Director of Communications.
Former Consul General to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Former Consul General to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Deputy Communications Director for the NPP as well. Thank you for joining us. Ebu Bakman is Deputy Communications Director for the United Party. He also joined us in the studio. Abraham Amaliba is Director General National Road Safety Authority and a legal practitioner as well. He also
let's join hands to call on the safety of the roads in Easter. Actually, those going to Kawu, we should all actually.
I hear people have visited Soloku in
So Big Issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. Whether you are aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through our dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, University Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. And if your next step is an MSc in international relations, communication, international marketing, international law, security diplomacy, accounting, finance, or human resource management, an LLM in international law, security diplomacy, or an MA in biblical studies, practical theology, the pathway is open. April admission is now open as well. You can apply today because at University Cape Coast, we make it practical, flexible learning, flexible entry, and flexible payment. You get opportunity to study around your work and life. Choose a route that fits your background and pay in convenient installments. Your dream deserves structure. Your future deserves strategy. Your purpose deserves training. You can apply now at www.ugc.edu.gh, or you can call or WhatsApp on 0263 88855. That is University of Gold Coast. Thank you so much for sponsoring this segment. And like they say at University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. That's all time would allow us. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk.